Good morning. It is Sunday. It is 9 a.m. here in Montana. I am cold. I am bundled up. I've got my blankie and my sweater and my hot cup of tea, which is too hot to drink. It's almost too hot to touch the cup right now. So I'm drinking vanilla almond black tea by the Republic of Tea. It is so good. And I don't drink caffeine very often. And I was like, oh, I'm cold. I should have a cup of tea. And I was like, ooh, it's early in the morning. I can have caffeine. I will not let myself get dependent on caffeine again because I don't like being dependent on caffeine. I would much rather, have it occasionally. So, that's that. And if you are joining me live, I would love it if you would say hello in the comments. I got up this morning. I woke up at 3 this morning. I went to bed about an hour earlier. And so then I woke up an hour earlier and I was like, seriously, I'm going back to sleep. But I laid down and I played my self-hypnosis recording and I was like, ready to go get some work done. So I got up and got some work done. And well, what I did is I went in to my storage room, which was supposed to be my craft room, but it's more for storage than there's not much room in there to craft. I went through my filing cabinet with all of the stack of files and papers that I have a bunch of my writing because I was looking for my birth story. And I couldn't remember if I wrote it in middle school or high school, and it was freshman year. So it was October 2nd of 1995 that I wrote this. So I, of course, interviewed my mom and basically told the story. I mean, it's narrated as third person, but it was basically the story that she told. And I'm going to read exactly what is written. I will be rewriting it. Hi, Mary. Good morning. Glad to see you. Thanks for joining me. And so I'm going to read it exactly as it's written. I am going to rewrite it and add some more flair because it's good. But it's very kind of just dry and it does a lot of telling. And, we talk about in writing to show rather than tell. So I'm going to go back and rewrite it. But this is what I wrote when I was 14. Special Day by Dory M. Kern. Katie was lounging in a comfortable chair with her feet propped up on the coffee table. It was Wednesday evening, the 10th of December. She was at her mother's house. Katie knew the time was coming and had spent the day preparing, buying diapers, packing her bags, and making sure everything was ready. She had eaten a gyro for lunch and came to regret it later when she was burping gyros all through labor. The pains became stronger and closer together. She called Rick at the bike shop and told him they should be going soon. She also called her friend Diane, who was to meet them at the hospital. Rick hurried to Helen's house to get Katie. She climbed into the Chevette while he loaded her bags. The little car sped through the cooling evening. Despite the fact that it was December, it had been a sunny day with temperatures in the 50s. But by 6, the weather had cooled considerably. The car was full of nervous energy. Rick tapped the steering wheel, keeping rhythm to sounds in his head. Katie tried to stay calm, wishing he would quit it, but not wanting to nag. They arrived at Community Hospital. Katie was brought to a birthing room. She was in and out of bed, taking walks and waiting. Rick sat beside the bed, bumping it nervously. Katie tried to stay calm, but he was driving her nuts. She told him to knock it off. Diane sat on the other side of the bed, comforting Katie. Katie was in great pain, moaning and whimpering. Calm down, it's not that bad, a nurse told Katie impatiently. She slapped her. Katie didn't know what to think about that. The doctor came and told Katie to start pushing at about 9. She tried, but the baby just wouldn't come. He took her to the delivery room between 11 and 11:15. They broke her water and told her to push. He said that if the baby didn't come soon, they'd have to do a C-section. Katie pushed and pushed. The baby started to come. The baby was crowning. The baby started to come. The baby was coming head first and face up. It's a girl, the doctor announced at 11:35 p.m. holding her up for everyone to see. There's our Dory Mavourneen, Katie smiled. The nurses took her over to the little bed to clean all the mucus off. Katie watched, thrilled to have a daughter. Oh, isn't she cute? I mean, her arms and legs and everything, Katie cooed. A nurse brought the baby over to Katie. Dory was wrapped in a blue blanket because they were all out of pink ones. She sure is a fat little thing, isn't she? The new mother asked. The doctor told Katie not to be so mean. But Katie wasn't being mean. She was thinking about how most babies look so skinny and puny. Dory looked like a little Eskimo, red-faced with a head of thick black hair. She weighed 7 pounds and was 19 inches long. Katie began nursing Dory. She started right off and didn't want to let go. We have to take the baby and poke her heel now, the nurse told Katie, taking Dory from her. Well, I'm not terribly sympathetic. After all, she just put me through. They took Dory away from her mother for a while. Rick went to the payphone in the waiting room and began making phone calls. He told relatives and friends the exciting news of his firstborn. When they brought Dory back, she was wearing a little t-shirt and a diaper. She clawed the shirt furiously, trying to get it off. Dory did not like clothes, an opinion she kept for a few years. Katie smiled down at her daughter. Rick and Diane went home later. Katie slept peacefully that night, thinking of her new daughter. Rick came to get them the next morning. They didn't have insurance and couldn't afford a long hospital stay. And since there weren't any complications, Katie was forced to leave. They buckled Dory into the hand-me-down car seat they had borrowed from Rick's brother, and the happy family departed for home. So when I read that, I had some questions. And the main question, one question was, why did they go to the hospital if her water didn't break? Why did they break her water for her? I don't know. Anyway, I was a week early. Anyway, the other question that I have, so this says that I was born at 11:35, but when I was wanting to get an accurate astrology reading, I was looking for my birth time, and Mom goes, well, I think it was 11:40, 11:42, something like that. And I said, no, but I need the exact minute. And somebody said, oh, it's on your birth certificate. And I said, really? I don't think I've ever noticed that. And I looked at my birth certificate, and it was not on my birth certificate. And so I went to the hospital and requested my birth record in order to get the birth time. And my birth time is 11:40, and this is 11:35. So we'll fix that when I rewrite it. And let's see what else. Yes, I was 14 when I wrote this, Mary. I was almost 15, so it was 2 months and 8 days before my 15th birthday that I wrote this. Well, that I turned it in, the date that it was turned in. So I probably wrote it the month before. So a few months before I turned 15. And then at the end, it says that they took me home in a hand-me-down car seat borrowed from my dad's brother. Well, my question there is, my dad's brother has a son who is 6 months older than I am, I believe. So why did they have a hand-me-down car seat from them when he's practically my same age? Unless they didn't want to use unless they didn't want to use the girl car seat that they used for his older sister for him. But the car seat that I remember us having that we used for both of my brothers was not girly. So I don't know. So I'm going to have to ask. I'm going to have to ask why they used a hand-me-down car seat from them. So anyway, that's my story from there. And I'm trying to decide. I think I'm just going to keep reading. So I have a couple other things here that I wanted to read. And so I'll be sharing more of my writing as time goes on. But I'm going to go ahead and read these in this chronological order as far as I can tell. Okay, so I know that this one comes next of these pieces anyway. So this is called The Barbie in the Desk. And I wrote this in 4th grade after reading The Indian in the Cupboard. So it is very much modeled after The Indian in the Cupboard, for anyone who's familiar with that, which is a book by Lynn Reed Banks, which was made into a movie. And I read it with a couple of my students too when I was teaching. So this is The Barbie in the Desk by Dory M. Kern, dedicated to Holly Razor, one of the sweetest people I know. So I wrote this in 4th grade, so I would have been 8 or 9. Once there was a little girl who loved Barbie dolls. Her name was Liz. Her birthday was only a few days away. She hoped she would get Barbie dolls. She especially wanted the Western Barbie motorhome. Today was Wednesday and her birthday was next Saturday, so it was only 3 days away. She was so excited she couldn't concentrate on her lessons all morning. At lunch, she met her best friends, Tara and Julie, in their usual shady place and discussed the birthday party. After lunch, they had algebra. They were in the same class. Their teacher, Mr. Yankee, was horrible. No one liked him. After algebra, they could go home. They all lived on the same block, so they walked home together. When Liz got home, she grabbed an apple and went to her room to get a book to read. Her 2 favorite things to do were reading and playing Barbies. She took her book downstairs to read. This is the last book she had that she hadn't read yet. She had read 50 books in the last 3 months. She sure hoped she got some more books for her birthday. She was on the last chapter in her book. The book she was reading was called The Indian in the Cupboard. She loved the book. Then her mother called her for dinner. Oh, darn, I only have 3 pages left, Liz said. Come on, Liz, her mom said. Okay, Liz said. They had pork chops and gravy, corn, and potatoes with gravy. She ate fast and then went to finish her book. Then she got ready for bed. She went to sleep and dreamed about her party. The next morning at school, she had art. It was her favorite subject. She decided to make a Barbie couch, and she'd use real leather. When she got done, it looked like a real couch. After that, she had home economics. She hated that class. It was her worst subject. Next, she had lunch. She met her friends and discussed the party again. When the bell rang, the 3 of them all said, ugh, and then started laughing. Mr. Yankee is so mean. They all started giggling again. When they walked in, Mr. Yankee said, you're late. Oops, they said. You will write 100 times, I will not be late, and turn it in tomorrow. Okay, they said. On the way home, Tara said, Mr. Yankee is so mean. Yeah, said Julie. Really, said Liz. Guess what, guys? I don't have any more books to read. Uh-oh, said Julie and Tara in unison. Then they all started giggling. When they got home, they split up. Liz went inside and went to play Barbies. She got down all of her things, wishing she had the motorhome. After playing for about 3 hours, she went up and ate an apple. She was very excited. Tomorrow was her birthday. That night, she couldn't sleep. She didn't get to sleep until 12:30. The next morning, she got up and danced around singing. At breakfast, her mom and dad sang happy birthday. Her mom took her shopping and out for lunch. At 3 o'clock, she had her party. From her parents, she got a desk, the Barbie motorhome, 3 books, a Barbie, and a Ken. From her grandparents, she got a baby blue sweater with designs and sequins all over it. She also got a Ken doll. From Julie, she got a Barbie doll. From Tara, she got 3 Boxcar Children books. When everyone left after the party, Liz played Barbies. Then, when she went out for dinner, she put Western Barbie in her desk drawer and locked it. When she got home later that evening, she thought she heard sounds like click, 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 clack, click. She ignored them, though. The next morning, she woke up sure that she heard noises coming from the desk. She opened the drawer to find that her Barbie was alive. Hi, Liz said uncertainly. Hi, my name is Kathleen, Kate for short, she said cheerfully. You mean you can talk? Liz said in an odd voice. Sure, why not? Kate asked seriously. Because you're a doll, that's why, said Liz. Can I hold you? Asked Liz. Yes, said Kate. Liz picked her up. You're so small, said Liz. No, you're just big, Kate said. Liz laughed at that. Hey, would you like a motorhome? Asked Liz. Sure, answered Kate. Well, I'll try, said Liz. She put the motorhome in her desk, turned the key, counted to 5, and opened the drawer. She picked up the motorhome. It was heavier than before. She set it down on the floor, and Kate opened the door and got in. She pushed down on the gas pedal, and to Liz's surprise, it started moving. Hey, I wonder if the food is real too, said Liz. Open it, said Kate. Okay, said Liz. So she opened it, and that food was real. Cool, said Liz. I'm hungry, said Kate. Dig in, said Liz. This is delicious, said Kate. Then Liz let Kate live in her dollhouse and motorhome. Then her mom called her for breakfast. She saved some of her bacon and a chunk of pancake for Kate. Kate ate that for lunch. After lunch, Liz said, Would you like to have a friend? Yes, said Kate. Liz put Western Ken into the desk. A while later, they heard noises coming from inside the desk. Liz put Kate in the desk drawer so she could explain that Liz was so big just to be safe. When he got out of the drawer, he wasn't surprised at all. Hi, he said. My name is Thomas, but just call me Tom. Okay, you can call me Liz, said Liz. Then it was 4 o'clock. Liz called Tara and Julie immediately. She had them over and introduced them to Tom and Kate. Wow, said Tara. Yeah, said Julie. Then Liz put her 57 Chevy in the desk. When she took it out, it was heavier than before. Tom got in and drove around. Cool, said Tara and Julie in unison. The food and stove in the motorhome work too, said Liz. Now that's COOL, cool, said Julie. Everyone laughed at that. Even Tom and Kate laughed. Then Tara said, Hey, let's make lots of things real. We have to tell you something, said Kate. Tom and I are married. Married? Asked Liz, Julie, and Tara in unison. Yeah, said Tom. Married. Hey, would you like some furniture and clothes? Asked Liz. Sure, answered Tom. So the girls got busy making things real. They made clothes, chairs, a stove, a couch, even a refrigerator real. Then they watched Tom and Kate eat a romantic dinner of turkey and potatoes with gravy. Then Tara and Julie had to go home and eat. They said they would come back and bring dolls after dinner. And they did. The three of them put the dolls in the desk, brought them to life, and Kate and Tom explained that Julie, Tara, and Liz were so big. When they came out, no one was surprised at all that the 3 giant sets of eyes were staring at them. They were all talking and laughing. Each girl picked up her dolls and talked to them. Liz had put another Barbie and Ken in the drawer. She had 2 Barbie houses. She let Tom and Kate have one and Holly and Jay the other. Holly and Jay were married too. That night, the dolls were having a party. Liz had brought 5 other couples to life. They had a great time. Each couple had a place to stay. One house had 4 floors, the other had 2. She also had the motorhome. Each couple had a floor except one. They got the motorhome. The next morning, everyone had a great breakfast. They had pancakes, scrambled eggs, and crispy bacon. But after breakfast, Liz had to go to school. She met Julie and Tara, and they walked to school together. They talked about the dolls. Today was April 3rd. When they got to school, Liz said, Remember, don't tell anyone about the dolls, okay? Okay, said Tara and Julie. Julie had art, Tara had math, and Liz had home economics. Liz didn't like home economics, but it was better than algebra, which she had after lunch. Yuck, yuck, yuck. At lunch, Liz and Tara and Julie met and discussed the dolls. Then they had algebra. Mr. Yankee was his usual jerky self. They turned in their sentences. After school, Liz talked to Julie and Tara about the dolls as they walked home. At school the next morning, Liz had math. It was one of her favorite subjects. Her teacher's name was Mrs. McHugh. Her other favorite subject was English. Her English teacher's name was Miss Campbell. Liz loved both of them dearly. Poor Liz, she couldn't keep her mind on her studies at all. It just kept drifting to the doll subject. Her very, very, very favorite doll was Holly. She was so sweet and kind. Liz couldn't wait to get home and see her. After math, it was lunchtime. Liz, Tara, and Julie met and discussed the dolls. After lunch, they had algebra. Yuck, yuck, yuck. Finally, school was over. When Liz got home, she went straight to her room to see Holly. Liz knew that someone would find out if she kept all the dolls real. She decided to keep Holly and Jay real and send the others to wherever they were before. So she put all the dolls in the desk except Holly and Jay. Then she put some shoes in the desk. Most of them turned to leather. Liz made a Barbie bed reel too. That night, she fell asleep dreaming of the dolls. I hope that didn't glitch when my phone said my battery was low. The end. So that was the Barbie in the desk, my homage to the Indian in the cupboard. And I wrote this in 4th grade. And let's see if my tea is cool enough to drink yet. Oh, it's so good. I love that almond flavor. Okay. What do you think? Should I read some more or should I come back another time? Don't see any comments, but I'm really eager to read this one. So I think I'll read this one next. May as well read them all. I've got others I can read another time. Toledo. So I wrote this my senior year in high school after going to Spain between junior and senior high school, the very end of the school year, junior year. Toledo. Cobblestone calles meander amongst artisans' shops filled with tourist trinkets and crumbly marzipan. Shady plazas, bougainvillea-draped archways radiate exquisite perfume. In La Catedral de Plaza Mayor, light streams through rainbow glass, where Cardinal Mendoza's plumed red hat dangles above his tomb. Marble angels ascend to heaven beneath the eastern skylight. Near Puerta del Sol, La Mezquita de Crista de la Luz hums with praises of Allah. La Franja Calligrafica and geometric mosaics in blue, red, and gold adorn keyhole arches. Prayer hall walls once shielded a wooden Christ from devastation at the hands of angry Muslims. Su lamparilla de 369 años still glows with divine light. En la Juderia, a single Star of David is nearly lost on white plaster walls of La Sinagoga de Santa Maria la Blanca, a plea for the return of Jews desaparecidos durante la Inquisición echoes through the desolate edificio. Four-towered El Alcázar, forbidding fortress, commands the craggy promontory. It is protected by El Rio Tajo and great walls of stone built to fortify Muslim strongholds against invading Christian knights. Artesanos and factorías de rapiers still hammer Damascene gold into steel swords. They recite psalms to calculate the precise time the metal tempers in the 1,000-degree furnace before shaping it with macetas and cooling in water with a hiss as loud as medieval cruzadas. Shouts of sun-scorched warriors chocan con blood-splashed temples as they fall to El Cid Campeador. I know the power of the master swordsmith. He has taught me salty fear, so potent I can taste. And then this next one is in both English and Spanish. I actually wrote it in Spanish and then translated it into English. So I'm going to go ahead and read the Spanish version first, and then I'll read the English version. Poesía en la calle. Luces brillantes iluminan las cabezas de transeúntes. Caras aparecen de las sombras azules y moradas. Mi boca resuena en mis oídos y me abandono al ritmo intricado de mis palabras. El borracho en el rincón lejano del callejón da palmadas sosegadamente, corteando tontería entre tragos de externo. Durante el último verso, él se rinde la conciencia a la paz del inocente que se le envuelve. Yes, Mary, I have always known I wanted to be an author. I literally have been writing books since I could hold a crayon to draw pictures and dictate the words to my mom. And somewhere I have a book that I made my senior year in high school. I made my own literary magazine with my own artwork and writing. And it goes all the way from like a book that I wrote at like 3 years old where I drew the like stick figure pictures and my mom wrote the words down. That's like it's an homage to Hop on Pop by Dr. Seuss. And I have poetry, like I have this vivid memory of when I was probably 4 or 5 and I was sitting on my bed and I had this little blue notepad and I was writing poetry and I wrote a poem about a bunny rabbit and I think the other one was about a fly. Um, and then I have writing, all the way up. So I'll be digging out my writing and I'm gonna organize it for myself and like create a literary magazine with my writing. I don't know that I have much of my artwork that I did as a kid. So I don't know what I'll do about that. But all right, so here is the English translation of Poetry in the Street. I wrote my first song when I was 2 years old. So yeah. And then I was actually wrote a piece about my 2 great grandfathers that was published in an anthology of Montana history when I was 8. And then I wrote an entire novel when I was in middle school. All right, so here is the English translation of the Spanish poem I just read, which is Poetry in the Street. Bright lights illuminate heads of passers-by. Faces emerge from shadows of blue and purple. My voice resounds in my ears, and I abandon myself to the intricate rhythm of my words. The drunkard in the far corner of the alley claps softly, gurgling nonsense between sips of sterno. During the last verse, he surrenders his consciousness to the peace of the innocent which envelops him. So this next poem, when I was also written my senior year in high school. No, I didn't what? No, I didn't what, Mary? Now I want to know what you mean. No, I didn't what? Do you mean I didn't write a song when I was 2? If you don't believe me, I'll prove it. I'll sing it to you. So we used to go for drives. And actually, it's funny because we would go for drives up Hattie Canyon. That was one of our favorite places to drive. And we would drive up there with my grandma. And there was a hillside that was covered with buttercups. And so I made up this song. Buttercup, buttercup, under the dancing sun. Buttercup, buttercup, if I could just pick one. So that's that was my song that I wrote when I was 2 years old. And I used to tell my mom, I told my mom when I was really little that I wanted to be a singer when I grow up. And she told me that I shouldn't do that because I was tone deaf. Well, she didn't tell me then, but she told me when I was, like, I don't know, elementary, middle school, that I was tone deaf and, singing was not my best quality. And I harbored like, shame about my singing voice for years because of that. And then, I've got thank you. I've gotten compliments. I was at a women's retreat when I was in Texas at the Unity Church. And I was standing next to somebody and I was singing and she goes, "Oh, you have a beautiful voice. Are you the musician who's here for to provide music during the retreat?" And I said, "No, that's not me, but thank you very much." So, and I make up songs. Actually, I made up a song this morning and I recorded myself singing it and I need to post it. So I'm going to I don't know if it'll be, it's like 30 seconds. So I don't know if I can do a reel or if I have to do, I don't know. But anyway, I'll be uploading that later today. And then I called my friend because she had texted this morning and I texted her back and then I called her and I like started singing the song. So I'll share that in a little bit. All right. So this poem, so in AP Humanities with Sally Scott, who was, oh my gosh, this woman was absolutely incredible. And I had been hearing about how amazing Sally Scott was since I was a kid because I have cousins who are 13 years old. Like Stacy's 13 years older, and I think Greg is maybe 11 years older. I'm not sure if he's I'm guessing he's 2 years, maybe 3 years younger than Stacy. Anyway, so they went to Big Sky and they had Sally Scott and talked about how amazing she was. And so I had been looking forward to taking AP Humanities with Sally Scott since I was a little kid. So anyway, and it was funny because I had her for AP Humanities as a senior, and my brother Sager had her for freshman English. And he was terrified. He was like, I'm terrified of her. And she was like under 5 feet tall and super tiny. And he's like 6'5" and had probably already hit 6.5, 6'5". And so it was hilarious that he said he was scared of her. But anyway, well, and it was funny because I said, I'm going to be Sally Scott when I grow up. And Sager goes, first of all, we're going to have to chop you off at the knees. And then I'm going to disown you. A little stinker. But she didn't realize that we were brother and sister. And I don't know, at some point I said, and she's like, isn't he just the cutest little thing? And I was like, little compared to you? No. He was pretty adorable though. All right. So we had to write a poem, and we had to include quotes from Shakespeare in the poem. And, at first, like a teenage girl that I was, I started using like lines from his love sonnets and trying to write a love poem. And I was like, this is garbage. And so I flipped through my journal and I found some writing that I had written in my journal when I was angry with my father after a fight with him. There were so many of them in those days. So glad those days are behind me. And I had written about that with imagery from Yellowstone National Park. So for those of you who aren't familiar with it, like you can Google Yellowstone National Park, and there's Mammoth Hot Springs is in here, and Old Faithful, the geyser, and things like that. So those, and then I used quotes from The Tempest, which was our high school wide novel that year. And so every English class in the entire school read that book that year, and our drama department put on the play. So this is called Death by Slanderous Tongues, Dori Kern, spring of 1999. I need another drink before, actually, I need a cold drink before I do that. Death by Slanderous Tongues. You speak like one who made such a sinner of his memory to credit his own lie. Your dark eyes bore into mine, daring me to look away first. You deny my tears, belittling my arguments. That man that hath a tongue, I say, is no man if with his tongue he merely hurts his children. A boa constrictor grips my lungs. You tighten my shoulder muscles like a guitarist tuning his strings. Seething indignation explodes within me, more powerful than Old Faithful blowing my skull apart. The orange-red cliffs of my anger are like the swirls of color in the limestone terrace of Mammoth Hot Springs. May my conscience fill all thy bones with aches. Your name is Squalor, not Father. Thou art the Mars of malcontents. Come not within the measure of my wrath. Prithee, stay away from this oozing pocket of geothermal darkness, the rankest compound of villainous smell that ever offended nostril. Don't bother coming back. So I read this aloud to my AP Humanities class. And when I finished, the entire class went, oh. And Sally actually came up to me in the hallway one day, a few days afterwards, and she said, Dori, that poem was so incredible. She said, most people have to go through decades of therapy before they can write something that beautiful. And so it's one of my favorite poems, and that's something that I recognized this last year on June 13th, on my dad's birthday, was that some of the most powerful poetry that I've written came from the pain that he inflicted upon me. And so that is a gift that I received from him. And for so long I hated him and was angry at him for it. And now I can recognize the beauty and the gift in that pain that I received from him. All right. So then this I also found, and I did not read, the only one of these that I read through before coming live to read them was the birth story, because I actually went through and retyped it because I want to rewrite it because I'm working on a project that I need it for. All right. So this was from my freshman year in college. And it's called Ignorance and the Decline of Our Nation. I believe that ignorance will lead to the decline of our nation. I don't mean the type of ignorance generally associated with ditzy blondes, but ignorance as it pertains to corrupting the minds of our society. Ignorance plays many roles in corrupting society, from intolerance to lack thereof. Just because someone is different doesn't mean they should be feared and hated. Too many people are ignorant to the importance of diversity and the richness it brings to our country. If everyone were the same, there would be fewer problems. But life would also be incredibly monotonous. When we are intentionally ignorant to the positive qualities of others just because they look different or have different beliefs, we shut ourselves off from enriching and enjoyable experiences. Another negative aspect of ignorance is that which enables people to avoid their duties and responsibilities as American citizens. People hide behind excuses such as I didn't know that was recyclable, or my vote won't make a difference. When they do this, they are not only making things worse on themselves, they're letting down their fellow countrymen. So those are some of my bits of writing that I have written over the years. And thank you for watching. And I'd love it if you give me a like and share this with somebody who might enjoy it. If you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel yet, I can put the link in there. And I am doing a very special full moon sacred circle this evening, Embracing the Sacred Within. And it is a family-friendly event. There are coloring pages that come along with it. And there will be something for children of all ages. And so we'll do some healing and some alchemy. And I think it's going to be really beautiful. It's going to be live on Zoom, and it is $0. Though for those of you who would like to stay for the VIP after party, that will be available for those who join or have joined my moon magic and manifestation portal. And so the first person to register for that is named Luna, which is the Spanish word for moon. So that was just totally perfect and kismet. And so we're going to have an after party. We'll get to stick around and do a little bit of extra magic for those who have joined. And it includes sacred circles and or meditations for each full moon and new moon. And so new moon sacred circles are only in the paid program. Full moon circles I will sometimes do for $0 because I do want some of my work to be available to everyone. And but I also need to make money to live. So, we'll find the balance. And so the new moon circles are where the real magic happens. There's a lot of great stuff about full moons, but new moons are those are the ones that are really magical. And so that's where we do the real manifestation work. And so those ones, like I said, are in the paid program. And so it comes with those. Let me look at my flyer so that I can tell you everything that's in it. Okay, so it has monthly full moon or meditation or sacred circle, monthly moon journal PDF, monthly new moon meditation or sacred circle and VIP party replays from previous months, a guest ticket for a friend to attend all events with you for the month, and a private Facebook community. And for those of you who register by March 3rd, you will receive an advance copy of my Seashell Serenity Scheduler and the masterclass that goes with it, which is a $75 value. Now you get all of this for $22 a month. And if you would like 25% off, I do have that option if you pay every 6 months. So you can sign up for the $22 a month, or you can save 25% and pay $99 every 6 months. And so I will drop the payment links for both of those in there. And so anyone who registers before or during the event tonight will get to stick around for the after party. If you register before the event, you get your Moon Journal PDF before the event. So you get to take your notes during the session in your journal. Everybody gets the 2 coloring pages that I created, but only those in the paid subscription will get the full journal. So if you have any questions, I don't know if anybody's watching. Oh, it looks like we have one person live. So if you have any questions about that Moon Magic and Manifestation Portal, you can feel free to ask them in the comments here. You can send me a DM, contact me any way that you are in contact with me, and I will be happy to answer those questions throughout the day. I will be spending some time in meditation and finishing up creating that journal and preparing for this evening. I'm also going to be teaching a song that I wrote back in 2007 for my 5th graders to help them learn about the moon. So it's going to be a really great event. And like I said, $0, and there's fun for the whole family. And everybody who registers will get the replay. So even if you're not available this evening, it's at 5 p.m. Mountain, 6 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Eastern, so 4 p.m. Pacific. And it'll last about an hour, maybe a little bit longer, depending on how many people I have and how much people participate, and if questions that people have. And then we will take a we'll take a 15-minute hiatus where people will have a chance to take a bio break and register if they want to register for the paid group. And then we will resume with the VIP party for another half hour to 45 minutes. So thank you so much for watching. I look forward to seeing you this evening at my full moon circle, and or at another live video, or wherever it is. Questions, thoughts, suggestions, ideas, requests for types of videos, drop them in the DMs. My DMs are always open, and I am work very hard to come in and reply to comments regularly. So I hope that you have a wonderful rest of your day. I hope you do something today that sets your soul on fire and brings you joy, and that you follow your bliss. Take care. Love you all. Have a wonderful day. I will see you later.